Hello and welcome everyone to our February general meeting. I call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. We have quorum, so we will now move on to roll call. District 1, Commissioner Mishra.
Present.
District 2, Commissioner Pradeep Kumar.
Present.
District 3, Commissioner Sanchez.
Present.
District 4, Commissioner Arroyo.
Present.
District 5, Commissioner Liu.
Present.
District 6, Commissioner Bonsall.
Present.
District 7, Commissioner Vu.
Present.
District 8, Commissioner Gonzalez Munoz is absent. District 9, Commissioner Singh.
Present.
District 10, present. Citywide Commissioner Kuczerski.
Present.
We will now move on to item 2, consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Commissioner Liu moves to approve the consent calendar.
Any seconds?
Commissioner Vu seconds.
Please vote on your screen. The vote passes by a vote of 10 to nothing, I guess. And we have one abstention. And we will now move on to item 3, public record. Do we have any public record or correspondence today?
No, we don't.
Okay, then we'll move on to item 4, open forum. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on an item not on today's agenda?
No, we don't.
Okay, then we will move to item 5A, discussion items. First up, we have immigration support letter presented by Vice Chair Liu.
Awesome. Okay, so this letter does a few things, and you'll each have a copy of it in your folder if you haven't had the chance to read it. If you are just reading it now, feel free to go skip right to those 3 bullet points that really summarizes the core of this letter. So this letter does a few things for our community, and especially our immigrant community here. And it calls, first of all, for our elected leaders to reaffirm our status as, a welcoming status for all people, regardless of their immigration status. And the council recently has done so through resolution. I believed it was passed unanimously in February. So, that part of the letter has been covered, but there are 2 main and really essential things that I call on our leaders to take action on to provide those additional resources to our community. And that's 1, enhancing and creating wider availability of legal aid resources. I know the San Jose Public Library Department specifically has lawyers in the library program, and to my knowledge, it's a very popular program. Expanding those resources to, not only encompass and expand legal access in terms of providing immigration support, but also, a plethora of other topics that come with it. Another thing, and this is, one of the most important pieces of this letter that this letter does and calls for, is to preserve and strengthen DEI initiatives in light of the federal government's attack on federal DEI programs. And it's, more important than ever that we get the opportunity to advocate for these resources. A lot of the time, these resources, including these resources and establishment, the Office of Racial Equity, supports and uplifts the mission of DEI. It makes sure that each of our residents have an opportunity to engage and have equitable access in terms of our resources. So that part of the letter ensures that, and there are many task force and working groups, even within the city of San Jose, that encourages every resident to come and voice their opinions, no matter what they are, their immigration status is. And this letter also tackles that issue of making sure that our DEI programs are preserved. And, as we head into budget season, these are really important considerations that I believe that we need to advocate to our elected leaders. Over the course of the month of February, we've seen schools across our city, especially East Side and far beyond it, that have walked out in solidarity with our immigration community. Overfelt was one of the first to do it, and it sent ripple effects. And as an Overfelt student, and participating in a protest like that in solidarity with our immigration community really does feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And, there are so many contributions that our immigration community contributes not only to the culture that we all have in our communities, but to the economics of our community. So with that, that's my comments on the item. And, Aldo Gonzalez Muñez isn't able to be here today, but I authored this letter with him, and I thank him for his collaboration to make sure that our community is getting all the support that we need.
Thank you, Commissioner Liu. Do we have any public comment on this item?
Yes, we do. Dustin Tran.
I believe the idea of going ahead and helping immigrants, especially in California, where we are very close to the border of Mexico, is very important. And how, although we may be just state, we can act at a federal level and prevent any further certain actions against immigrants from occurring further. And I totally agree with this action that San Jose is currently taking in regards of the whole California state. And by going ahead and acting further on this idea, we are capable of providing the best for both undocumented immigrants and immigrants who are currently having education right now. And I believe this is the best that San Jose can do for the immigrant population that is a majority of the San Jose population. So I totally agree with Andrew Liu and how he goes ahead and states that we need to go ahead and help immigrants with the DEI program, and how I affirm it.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
No, we don't. We can move on.
Okay, we will now move on to commission discussion. Do any commissioners have any comments about this item? Commissioner Arroyo.
Thank you. I think this is really good. I think that I think we touched on it at the budget summit, but again, there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to this topic. And I want to thank Andrew and Aldo for this action or this taking action on this, because yeah, it's definitely a topic that I'm sure touches home for a lot of people. So yeah, I think this was really good on your guys' part. I really like this letter.
Thank you. Do any other commissioners have anything else to add? Okay, well, I'd just like to commend Commissioner Liu and Commissioner Gonzalez Munoz, even though he's not here today, for upholding what I think are the core values and the honor code of the Youth Commission. I think this aligns with what we try to work on as a commission and what we try to promote. So I thank you for your effort and your time in drafting this letter. Commissioner Kuczynski.
I also would like to recognize Andrew and Aldo for their work on this. I think it's also very amazing that this is such a recent development and you took the necessary steps to have your voice heard in a timely manner, even when you might be busy with school, work, or other things. So just a really good job on your part, and thank you for stepping up.
Any other commissioners? Okay, we will then move to a vote. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Vu. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing as everyone else. I think this is a really powerful letter, and seeing like you out on the streets actually advocating for those that are immigrants and those that it's just really cool seeing the work that you're putting into something that's so important.
Any other commissioners? Okay, we will now move on to a vote to approve this item being sent to City Council. Please vote on your screen. Okay, the vote passes unanimously by a score of 10-0. So now we'll now move on to item 5B, informational. Youth Commission fiscal year 2024 to 2025 work plan review by Chair Mascarenas. And so basically, I wanted to take this time to go, we drafted our work plan in August during our retreat, and so it's been a couple of months. And so I wanted to go back to our work plan and reroute our timing and understand some of the work we've done and how it aligns with our work plan per se. And so I think the work plan will be pulled up on the screen shortly, but basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run through the objectives that we created at the beginning of the year and see if we're either on pace or have things planned to meet those objectives now. And if, for example, our budget summit, we've met some of those objectives to see if we've already met some of those objectives, if we have future things planned to meet those objectives, or if there's things we need to do in order to meet this goals that we set out at the beginning of the fiscal year during our budget retreat. So I think it'll be placed up, but I think we can start with, let's start with, let me pull it up really quickly, but we'll start with explore and understand gender-based violence, resources, and services. And so just to remind everyone of the bullet points that we had there, the first one was to collaborate with local organizations and city departments to conduct research and support an awareness campaign by youth around issues, including but not limited to sexual harassment, assault, domestic violence, healthy relationships. And then the second thing we wanted to do was host a resource fair / town hall / workshops featuring community partners and organizations with resources and support services for issues, including but not limited to mental health, safety, and drug awareness addiction. And so could potentially someone from the gender-based violence ad hoc like to share about some of the work that we've done this year that is contributing to these micro objectives? Commissioner Pradeep Kumar.
Yeah, so regarding the gender-based violence ad hoc, at the beginning of the year, around October, we met to talk about a potential event, like the one listed on the work plan. We're having like a resource fair or some sort of town hall, and we did a good amount of planning for it. However, and we have like a project proposal ready for it. And Emily and I have reached out to YWCA to ask them if they could potentially host some sort of workshop at this event. And I think it's a really good concept, and we have a little bit of room for improvement, I could say. And we have a meeting coming up to solidify this plan, so we could have it, I guess, coming up in the next couple of months.
Do any other members of the GBV like to add something? Commissioner Bonsall.
Okay, yeah. So adding on to what Nay has said, we're having like a more of a project proposal this year, and last year it was a policy proposal. So it's kind of cool to see how it's a continuation of the work that we did last year in the gender-based violence ad hoc, but also how we're growing into like new and more different things. So we're excited to like present that and like, you know, tweak it and make it like as great as it can be. But yes, just like an addition to what we did last year.
Any other members of the ad hoc like to add anything? Commissioner Mishra.
Yeah, kind of to add on to what Neha and Amia were talking about. One thing that we really did try to focus on in our project plan was the idea of having like a rotating tables with speakers. Because of like the, I guess, complexity of the issue that we have for this ad hoc, we wanted to have really intimate discussions and be able to have like almost like a one-on-one conversations with these leaders, with the students. So that's one thing I wanted to highlight.
Commissioner Pradeep Kumar.
This also pertains to gender-based violence, but as a YAC, we've been working on a project regarding sexual education, which is something that's really relevant to today, and I think it aligns really well with the Youth Commission work plan when it comes to gender-based violence. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Any other commissioners that are part of ad hoc? I think that pretty much summarized it pretty well, in my opinion. So we'll move on to the second sort of overarching goal we had this year, which was to foster environmental literacy and youth stewardship to create a more sustainable San Jose. We plan to collaborate with organizations, city departments, and to launch an awareness campaign with youth. And we also wanted to participate in litter cleanups, dumpster days, etc. And so I think I'll go for this one because I have a good feel for what we're doing in the environmental ad hoc. And so The first thing I'd like to say is that on a youth commission level, we have a tree planting plan for April 5th. We're planning on planting 20 trees. And this is in partnership with the mayor's office because this came from the mayor's fund. So if your yaks or anything or any people that you know are interested in coming to that, I don't believe that's finalized yet, but we are in the stages where it should be pretty solid on that date. I know that District 8 Commissioner Gonzalez Munoz has been participating in litter cleanups with his local neighborhood association. And I can say that my yak has been participating in almost monthly cleanups at Almaden Lake Park since we adopted that park. Edwin, have you planned anything with you? I know you're looking to adopt the park. So Commissioner Sanchez.
I actually had a litter pickup this Saturday with my yak. About 3 people showed up, but overall there was like I think 25 of the community. We are planning on making adopting a park, but we're still like in scrambles about it.
Thank you. Any other commissioners that are part of that ad hoc or not? Commissioner Arroyo.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, my yak also had we hosted our own park cleanup at Penitencia Creek, which was had a lot more litter than I thought would. So we picked up a good 5 big piles of trash, and I figured that went fairly well.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Vu.
So this past year, my yak and I, we participated in a litter cleanup with, I think, former Vice Mayor Kamei's office. And we had around 10 people show up, so that was pretty cool.
Any other commissioners? Okay, I think that's pretty solid. We can move on to our third overarching objective, which was to evaluate and study college and career pathways and literacy opportunities in San Jose. This included our youth budget priority session, our survey, and reports on things related but not limited to college and career pathways. Would anyone from that ad hoc like to share about some of the work that you guys have been doing? Commissioner Liu.
Thank you. I'll give a brief summary, and my fellow ad hoc members, please chime in. So in terms of achieving the specific work plan initiatives, receiving reports on programs and initiatives related to college and career pathways, we've successfully done so. I think a lot of that information that we've used and absorbed has been really helpful in understanding the landscape of what's happening with the college and career pathways that the city of San Jose is offering, and we're extending that beyond into our communities. In terms of conducting a budget priorities session and a citywide survey, I think we've also checked that box as well. So in terms of the ad hoc working towards achieving the specific actions that are outlined under the career and college pathway section, I feel like we've achieved them. Now, I'd encourage one of my commissioners to chime in and speak about maybe what they feel the landscape is now with the Career and Education Committee, and where we might think that we're headed towards in the next few months.
Commissioner Kuczynski.
Yeah, so our ad hoc right now is split into 2 groups for the specific purpose of looking into and researching 2 different ideas we have for how we can evaluate new initiatives for improving college and career pathways. Me and Andrew are in the group that is looking into how we can bridge the gap between school resources and library resources. Recently, we actually met with many different people who are involved in the process of library work and librarians at schools, and we went to the Mount Pleasant School District, and we looked at their school library, which is a official San Jose public library that is joint with the school. And we talked to all of them about how we might be able to further this initiative and to extend its reach into different high schools in San Jose and see how we can improve the resources at schools in this method. And then if someone from the other group wants to speak on what they've been looking into.
Commissioner Arroyo.
Hi. So I'm a part of the other group with Peter and Neha. So our group was kind of focused on kind of exploring with the recent trend in a lot of school closures in a lot of districts around San Jose for just lack of enrollment and other social economic factors. So we've been looking into that. I think our research has been pretty individual, or at least mine has. But yeah, I did find some pretty interesting trends. But yeah, that's what we're focusing on, and we're kind of seeing what we can do on our part to respond and do our best to kind of support these schools and the schools that will remain open after these schools close.
Commissioner Liu.
Thank you everyone for sharing. And I think a lot of the, I think the committee recognizes that, yeah, we've gone, pretty far in achieving our objectives. I think we're looking at, we're thinking long term in terms of initiatives and impact we can make on our young people. And I know that we're confined in the context of our specific work plan objective and ad hoc committee, but really this is an objective that the entire commission is working towards achieving. So I'd invite my commissioners who have maybe not participated in the Career and Education Pathways Ad Hoc Committee directly to ask any questions or to provide thoughts if there's that on things for us to think about and things that maybe are popping up in your community that you might see that's related to the areas that we're exploring. Yeah, if any commissioners have any of those thoughts, feel free to chime in.
Anyone else have anything to add? Okay. Well, that concludes this portion of the agenda, I guess. So we'll move on to item 6, reports and.
We have one more item on the work plan,
Oh,
the innovation committee.
oh yeah, the Innovation Committee. So the Innovation Committee has temporarily been suspended as of right now. The mayor's office doesn't have the capacity to take it on right now. That doesn't mean it's gone forever. There are events which the mayor's office is hosting to spur innovation and technology. I know that there is a Women in AI event recently. So they are hosting events of that nature, but directly with the Youth Commission is on hold for now. And there are plans potentially for it to be through the Youth Commission in the future. But as of right now, for this year, they have, we're not currently in contact with that as of right now. So I think that's the update on that. Now we can move on to item. Marion, do you want to share a little, or Commissioner Kuczewski, do you want to share a little bit about your experience on the ad hoc or, yeah, the ad hoc?
The innovation committee
Yeah,
specifically?
yeah.
Okay. So we did not make much progress with that since with the mayor's office, it was difficult to coordinate the details and since they are pretty busy. But I did recently have the opportunity to attend the Women in AI event held by the mayor's office in collaboration with San Jose State University. And I'd say it was a really good event. It was their kickoff event for basically innovation, outreach, and how people can get more invested into AI and STEM. They're planning on having those monthly at King Library with the mayor's office. And at this event, they had many different speakers who were women in leadership and AI talk about their experiences, as well as just give some advice about the industry. And they also have this wonderful opportunity for students at San Jose State to pitch their current ideas and what they've been working on. It's a really good experience. And I do think it's worth looking into for youth commission involvement in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner Kuczynski. I think that should do it for that portion now of the agenda. We will now move on to item 6, reports and
Can we
information.
take public comment before we move on?
Do? Okay. Does anyone have any public comment on item 5B?
No, we don't.
Okay, cool. Finally, we'll now move on to item 6, reports and informational only, starting with the council liaisons report from Mr. Ramirez.
Good evening, Commissioners. Lucas Ramirez, Policy Director to Councilmember Pamela Campos, District 2. My update this evening will be brief, but first I want to commend you on your very ambitious and thoughtful work plan. It was an enlightening discussion, and I'm excited to see you achieve the initiatives that you've established for yourself. So first, just a couple of updates regarding some of the items that I discussed last month. District 3 has an interim council member now, Councilmember Carl Salas, who will serve until the conclusion of the special election, either if there is a candidate who receives a majority during the primary, or after a runoff election if there is no candidate who secures a majority. The One Branham Lane, or Branham and Monterey Emergency Interim Housing Community, was recently opened. It's about 10% occupied at this point. What we've learned from Life Moves, the service provider, is that it takes around, the capacity allows for roughly 5 unhoused residents to be placed in the facility each day. It's a challenging process. Priority has been given to some of the unhoused folks who have been living in South San Jose near Great Oaks Boulevard and Endicott, which is an area that has been impacted for quite some time. That's in District 2. And of course, there will be opportunities for unhoused folks in the rest of the city to be able to be placed in this interim housing facility. And the last thing I want to share with you is I'm glad to see that you have a town hall opportunity for youth in our community to share their thoughts about the budget. That will be an extremely important and very challenging discussion that the council will have over the next few months. It tends to begin formally with the release of the mayor's budget message in March. That's a good opportunity to see the mayor's suggestions for priorities to be funded for the next fiscal year. But it's a very lengthy process. There will be ample opportunities for public participation. It's good that you're starting in March, because that means you will have an opportunity to share what your findings are with the council and the mayor early in the process. So there's ample opportunity for the council to consider those recommendations from youth in our community and incorporate them. We are contending, at least preliminarily, with a $60 million deficit. So most of the discussion will be around tough trade-offs, but I know members of the council will work diligently to include the recommendations that you produce. And with that, I just want to reiterate that Councilmember Campos is prioritizing incorporating youth in advocacy and action within our community. So, while I know there's capacity constraints with the committee that you were referencing, the Innovation Committee, to the extent that the District 2 office can serve as a partner in the work that you're doing, please reach out anytime. If time allows, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions about Commissioner Boo?
Hi, I just want to preface with thanking you for your report. So you mentioned like the Branham Lay unhoused center. I was wondering if that 5 residents being placed each day has been like being met every day, and what is like the capacity of that newly built center?
Good question. I believe it's 204 units, and I think I should know this. It is in District 2. I think it's around 214 or 220 beds. So some of those units are flexible and allow for households, for instance, more than one or two people.
Mm.
So I can't speak for Life Moves, so I don't want to share more than I know, but what we've gotten from our contact with Life Moves, the operator of that particular facility, is that, or emergency interim housing community, is that part of the challenge is it's a very lengthy process. It's not a simple matter of, you're an unhoused person or community, you can now reside in this this facility. There's a lot more to that intake process, and it's beyond my technical skill, but it's something that I can look into and in a future report provide more information about.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Liu.
Thank you for providing us your report. Budget season's coming up, very important season. The Youth Commission traditionally writes a letter conveying our youth priorities. You've been through the council process many times with your time as staff. What have you seen has been the most effective way of communicating that message of this is our priorities to a council office or a council?
That's a great question. I would say over the years, face-to-face opportunities to communicate with the mayor and the city council, each individual council member tends to be the best way to convey the importance or priority of your recommendations. I know it's not always easy to get FaceTime with council members and the mayor, but the mayor especially under the charter is tasked with leading the budget process. So the mayor has considerable influence in the direction with the March budget message. I would say if you can get something into the March budget message, then it's very likely that that priority will be sustained and ultimately approved by the council in June. So early input is so critical. And I know it's not easy since you haven't had time to reach out to the community that you're working with. But generally speaking, as an individual, as a commission, or as representatives of each of your districts, if you're able to reach out to the mayor in particular or members of, I'm sure you're all familiar with the Brown Act and some of the constraints that you have to operate under. The members of the city council who work with the mayor as part of the Budget Brown Act, if you're able to get before any of them in advance of the release of the budget message, that's the best opportunity to get something fairly significant incorporated. But that's not the end of the process. There are opportunities for individual council members through the budget document process, which allows individual council members to make a request formally. And then ultimately the mayor will determine which budget documents or BDs are incorporated into the June budget message, which is sort of an attempt by the mayor to include as much of the community input as he's heard, or incorporate input from the council members as the budget would allow. That is in the second most important opportunity. The June budget message is the sort of the high level direction for March, but it includes a lot more specificity. So anytime, before that budget message is released, if you're able to communicate your priorities to members of the council who are working directly with the mayor, or even members outside of that Brown Act group. So for instance, Councilmember Campos is not part of that Brown Act group, but we still have an opportunity to submit budget documents or BDs or make requests through other processes, requesting, for instance, that the city manager prepare some recommendations that might not be easy for an individual council member to make. There's a process for that. So any member of the council or the mayor before the March budget message or before the June budget message, there are still opportunities for individual council members or the mayor to try and incorporate some of that formal direction. That was a long-winded statement, but I would say, the most powerful and impactful way is to try and get some time personally with individual members of the council.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kuczynski.
Please excuse me if I'm overstepping here, as that's certainly not my intention. But do you have any idea on which parts of the San Jose funds will be cut in order to account for the $6 million deficit?
Another excellent question, and I'd say a little above my pay grade. But what I would, as a starting point, there was a study session a few weeks ago where the council members started to discuss what types of trade-offs they may be willing to consider to help balance the budget. And I think the most significant policy direction that the council is likely to make is related to Measure E, which was a voter-approved ballot measure that increased the tax when properties are sold. So if a property is transferred from one owner to another, there's a tax that's collected, and that goes into the general fund, but by policy is restricted for certain purposes. And since Measure E was enacted, most of that funding has been used for the construction of affordable housing. Now that funding has been shifting over the years to help pay for the cost of interim housing operations like One Brandon Lane we were just talking about. Those are very expensive to operate, and that funding has been critical to ensure that other core services are not reduced. But the cost of the emergency interim housing communities has increased to a point where now it's starting to have some impacts on general fund funded services. So what the council is likely to consider, we don't know what they will do, is allocate more of Measure E funding to help pay for those operational costs. And that means that there will be less pressure on other general fund supported services like libraries, like parks, public safety, police and fire, and that will address a good chunk of that deficit. There's still more that we have to contend with. I think the city manager's office had shared maybe $21 million, but that's still far better than 60 million that we have to look at cutting. And historically, when there have been deficits, that impact has been distributed across all departments. So everyone, including council offices and the mayor's office, has had to cut a little bit to help address that gap.
Any other commissioners have any questions? Okay, thank you so much for your report. We will now move on to the Parks and Recreation Neighborhood Services report from Ms. Box.
Good evening. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Good evening, commissioners and members of the public. My name is Lauren Box, Recreation Superintendent for the Department of Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I wanted to share a few updates on behalf of the department. Forgive the technical difficulties. In exciting news for the Recreation Division, we are happy to share that we have begun our summer hiring for a few key positions for our aquatics, so our pools that will be open this summer for recreation swim and swim lessons. Several of our summer camps will be hiring, so if you are looking for a summer job, the recreation leader position, which is kind of like our entry level position for the department, is now available. You can check that out online at the city's jobs webpage, along with Happy Hollow Park and Zoo. They're also hiring for the summer season. And in the spirit of summer, we are also opening our general registration this Saturday, both online and in person, for summer camp registration. That takes place, like I mentioned, online and in person at 10 a.m. So if you know anybody that's looking to make plans for their summer season, we highly encourage folks, if they can, come out to their local community center if they need support registering or taking care of that online when that opens. kind of shifting gears a little bit, we are going to be collaborating with the Human Resources Learning and Development team to host a city jobs application workshop for our teenagers, specifically guiding them through the application process. Key things to keep in mind as they're submitting their application, keywords and things like that. We'll be supporting kiddos that are 15 years and older to apply for our community service aid and our lifeguards positions. And then if you are graduating or have already graduated high school or have a GED, you are welcome to apply for our instructor lifeguard position, assistant swimming pool manager, recreation leader, like I mentioned previously, and our camp counselors at Yosemite. So more information to come on that and report back out to the Youth Commission after that event is hosted. It'll be coming up in early March for our teens at our teen centers. Just as a reminder from our folks in the Community Services Division, the 311 app is a great way to report blight reduction along with graffiti and illegal dumping as well. You can download the app, the 311 app, or you can go onto the website at 311.sanjoseca.gov, or you can also call the 24-hour hotline for two specific areas of concern, the graffiti and the illegal dumping. These really help us in ensuring that blight is removed in a quick and speedy manner, but also if we need to engage with our counterparts at the county and or state level. So if you haven't downloaded the app, I highly recommend it. And one thing to note, the app does provide translation. So it's available in English, Vietnamese, and Spanish, as you can see in this little graphic here. Moving on to the Parks Division. So the most important for the upcoming summer 2025 season, Family Camp will be closed. They're making some big renovations up at Family Camp near Yosemite. So stay tuned for the 2026 season and all the great renovations that's been done. In the spirit of park renovations as well, De Anza Park will be doing some renovations as well to the playground. So that will be gated off, and that will actually be starting tomorrow, February 25th. So if you're looking for a park in the area, there's quite a few, and you can find out where those are located if you go onto the PRNS website and look for parks by zip code. Oops. Continuing on with our Parks Division, similar to the 311 app, our Parks Division wants to engage residents in making sure that our parks stay beautiful, healthy, and safe for everyone. So if there are any maintenance issues or concerns, you can engage with our park staff at the phone number listed on the screen, or you can email them at park.concerns@sanjoseca.gov, and they will triage that and get the appropriate folks out to remedy any of those issues or maintenance concerns that people have. And last but not least, just a friendly reminder to follow the department on all these social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube, and you can follow us at SJ Parks and Rec. And with that, I'll stop sharing and see if you guys have any questions or concerns.
Thank you for your report. I just like to start off and say that resonated with a lot of things in your report. De Anza's in my district, so nice to see that it is getting revamped. I think that the interview prep for jobs for teens is really great.
Yes.
And I'm sad to see that Family Camp is gone because I have some friends who did it, and I think that it's a cool opportunity. But that's it for me. Any other commissioners have anything they'd like to say? Okay. Thank you so
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. And we will now move on to the San Jose Library report from Ms. Colombi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Vidya Kilambi from the library. The Berryessa branch is celebrating its 20th anniversary on Saturday, March 1st from 11 to 1 p.m. The event will kick off with opening remarks by District 4 Council Member David Cohen and City Librarian Jill Vaughn, followed by live entertainment, including a performance of singing and dancing birds, balloon twist art, giveaways, and treats and refreshments. Event is free and everybody is welcome. You are also invited to celebrate the Persian New Year at the Almaden Branch Library on Saturday, March 8th. This will include a Persian story time, fun activities such as a cultural craft and giant bubble play station, live Persian music and dance, plus light refreshments and food for all to enjoy. The library celebrated its annual Service Day event on Saturday, February 8th in honor of National Library Lovers Month. We welcomed a total of 114 participants who helped beautify their chosen library location by cleaning and tidying it to make it even more welcoming to the community. We thank everyone who participated and invite you to learn about our current volunteer opportunities by visiting sjpl.org/volunteer. March is Women's History Month, and it's time to honor and recognize the collective strength and influence of women who dedicated their lives to education, mentorship, and leadership. Learn more at sjpl.org/women's history. Find your lucky charm and celebrate Irish culture and heritage to the month of March. Learn more at sjpl.org/St. Patrick's Day. And that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, it was a short one. So thank you so much for your report. We
Thank
will now
you.
move on to the Commissioner Chair report. Have a couple things to say today, so bear with me, but I'll start off with the fact that the Adopt-A-Drain, which was scheduled for March 8th in partnership with Councilmember Kamei's office, has been postponed for a later date. When we have more details, we will let you know. The Santa Clara County Youth Task Force is hosting a networking event at King Library on March 30th. So more details to come, but if you are interested, that will be happening. And then annual reports. So if you don't know, we created an annual report last year, basically recapping our YAC work, our ad hoc work, and overall just YAC events, just everything that the commission did as a whole, bringing it and tying it together in one report. We will be doing the same this year, and so that will be due sometime in the coming months. And so if you guys want to start planning and preparing for what you'd like to include in there for your YAC and what you accomplished as a commissioner, please start preparing for that. We will have a joint meeting with the LEC Commission 1 week earlier than our usual general meeting, but it will count as our general meeting. So we will not have another meeting in March, but on March 19th, we will be hosting that joint meeting with LEC on March 19th in the wings in council in City Hall. It's somewhere down there. And we do give an annual report to the Neighborhood Services and Education Commission, which will be happening in May. I think it's May 8th, which is an AP test day. I think it's AP Japanese language. And so if you are interested in giving that report, I encourage all commissioners who haven't gone to NSC, and even those who have, maybe it's your last year on the commission, I think it would be a nice send off. I don't think there's a limitation on how many commissioners can come, is there? Yeah, so if you are interested in coming, please let us know. The day is May 8th, if you want to write that down. The last thing I'd like to say is I saw a lot of great project proposals, and I saw that a lot of commissioners fill them out. The next date to approve project proposals will be our April general meeting, so it won't be for a while. And I commend all the work that you guys did, and I'm sorry if it got pushed back to that meeting. It just meant that we needed some more specifics on the project. And I think that wraps up my report. So we will now move on to commissioner reports, starting with District 1 Commissioner Mishra.
Hello. So I had a couple of updates regarding my YAC. We recently decided on 4 primary teams: college and career, civic engagement, environment, and mental health. Just to provide a couple of updates on 2 of them. For mental health, we wanted to host a hackathon in either April or May now, not only to introduce students to several aspects of STEM, which is originally in alignment with the Innovation Committee, but also to raise more awareness for neurodivergence. We hope to do this by inviting keynote speakers with neurodivergence and providing resources for general youth to learn more about it. For career, we decided to combine our original project plan with Commissioner Pradeep Kumar with Commissioners Arroyo and Kucheruski to hopefully create a series of workshops centered on the college application process, namely the UC application, interview tips, and resume building. And we plan to hold them also in April or May. And as for my one YAC member working on transportation, he recently met with the policy director at Councilmember Cohen's office to receive their feedback and guidance on the memo we created last year. And we soon plan to finalize like the specific roads we hope to be implementing changes to and kind of finalizing our memo. And that's all from me. Thank you.
District 2, Commissioner Pradeep Kumar.
Hi, everyone. I have a couple of updates because it's been quite a busy month. So starting off, I had the opportunity to meet with Councilmember Pamela Campos at the beginning, actually, no, at the end of January. And I think that was a great experience because we got to discuss what the Youth Commission does, things like that, and District 2's work plan objectives. And I think it was a really great conversation to get to know one another and I guess some ideas she had during her term. Then moving on to our YAC meeting we had on February 8th. It was our first one after the budget summit. We did a lot of research on, as I mentioned earlier, our sex education project that we were talking about, which I hopefully would like to present at our April meeting. Moving on for outreach and recruitment, I've been working with Amia and Emily to, I guess, promote the vacant Youth Commission seats for the next year. And if you guys could promote these seats at your YAC meetings, I'm sure you guys are doing a great job of that already. That would be great, especially for districts 1, 4 through 7, 9, and 10. And I think I'm set to table at the SLAM Student Fair event along with Andrew, March 22nd. So I'm looking forward to that. Aside from Youth Commission items, I had the opportunity to attend the California Conference for Women, which happened on February 12th. It was an amazing experience. My school takes 6 people every year, and it's really cool this year because we got the opportunity to hear keynote speeches from Simone Biles and Padma Lakshmi. So I was really honored to attend that. And yeah, that's all I have for my report.
Thank you. District 3, Commissioner Sanchez.
Yep, I have a few updates. Me and my yak were able to attend a litter pickup. We were able to meet one of the people that are running for District 3 Council. I was able to accept more yak members thanks to Emily. And we have our next meeting set up for next month on the second Saturday. I got to learn more about just more of my yaks members, and it was a good time. That's it.
Thank you. District 4, Commissioner Arroyo.
Hello all, hope you guys have been having a lovely February. This month was pretty chill for my yak. As always, we had our bi-weekly Sunday meetings. We did have a park cleanup, as I mentioned earlier, at Penitencia Creek Park. We had some pretty good turnout. We actually had a lot of people coming up to us asking us what we were doing, so good plug for our neighborhood. We are currently planning, or we have in the plan in the works, Eco Swap with District 7, which I'm looking forward to, along with the career building event with Neha, Anya, and Marianne. We also had, my council member hosted a dumpster day, which I know some members of my YAC went to. And some members of my environment and homelessness committees have created a couple policy proposals, which I'm going to look at in the next coming months to see if I think that we should try to push for them onto the mayor's budget for the next year. Along with that, we are currently working to, we're in collaboration with Piedmont Middle School, along with hopefully a couple other Berryessa middle schools, to get some mental health posters on the behalf of my mental health and accessibility committee, to get some posters about resources and I think it was misconceptions about mental health in their classrooms, which we are hoping to do in the next coming weeks. I've also posted our Youth Commission apps, thank you, yeah, to to my YAC. I have a lot of people who are interested. I'm also looking to collaborate with Andrew on a future YAC meeting, right? So we're looking forward to that. But that is all. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your month.
Thank you. District 5, Commissioner Liu.
Okay, lots to go through. So in February, this is February, yes, February. And since the last meeting, we met with Councilmember Ortiz's office to discuss the office's priorities and their own youth priorities for the upcoming budget cycle. We've held 4 YAC leadership meetings with a February meeting coming up. At this point, I've been on the youth commission for a little while, and I've been lucky enough to have YAC alumni, so they're coming back, and they are not staying away. Thankfully, it didn't scare them off. Another thing is we're going to have a YAC meeting with Councilmember Ortiz coming up in March. We're continuing to research and explore various issue areas with our YAC and community partners to put forth proposals that are most needed and can provide the impact that is most desired. And we're meeting with groups like the Peace Coalition and a bunch of other organizations. Another thing that we did was we conducted in-person tabling opportunities to increase awareness, not just about YAC, but to hit some of our recruitment goals in the Youth Commission in applications. One of them is a career event at Renaissance Academy at Fisher, my alma mater, middle school, very proud, and Lunar New Year festival at Mount Pleasant, at a Mount Pleasant school district school. Other than that, that's all my report.
Thank you. District 6, Commissioner Bonsall.
Okay, on the outreach and communication side, I was also working with Emily and Neha. I've made a flyer that I think we're gonna work on distributing and like printing out and like passing out to everybody. So then you guys can post those at like your schools, your local libraries, just like anywhere. I know in my school we have like a breezeway, like a walkway, and there's just a bunch of like posters. And so that's definitely a great way to get recruitment done for all of our open positions. And then I post on Instagram. I'll probably keep reposting it to our story like every so often so that we can just keep getting engagement on that post. But then if you guys want to repost from your YAC accounts too, that would be great. I'm also working on like an email template for you guys to send out to schools if you want, like admin and like social studies teachers, just to like inform like schools in your district, your personal school of just like what's going on, how we have so many open seats, open like spots, and we really want to get those filled. And just in general, promote it to your YAC members about all these seats. We really want to get these application numbers high. And then for District 6, we have our YAC meeting coming up. We still have some applications that are coming in, and so I'm currently reviewing those and looking through them. But also, we have a lot of project proposals that the executive board has been reviewing. So as those get approved, I can make graphics to promote them on our Instagram. Or if you guys have like YAC members, or just like if you want to promote it yourself, you can like there's a collaboration feature on Instagram, which I love. And so if you guys just want to tag Youth Commission as a collaborator, I can accept that. And then we can just get more, of course, engagement and outreach for your project proposals as they come through. But yes, happy Monday.
Thank you. District 7, Commissioner Vu.
Hello, everybody. So for my YAC, we just onboarded a new YAC member that signed up through the library's website. This month we hosted 3 YAC meetings so far, and we're planning to ramp up the pace of our YAC meetings. So like usually it's bi-weekly, but this month we've been having them weekly, and in between, since all hands are on deck for my YAC with the Creative Futures Fair, we are having like subcommittee meetings throughout the week, every week. So it's at this point it's probably like 4 meetings a week. So for performer outreach for the Creative Future Fair, we have 10 confirmed performers, vendors 20 so far, and for like outreach stuff, we have the library tabling as well as the youth commission tabling. So if any youth commissioners are wanting to table, or like if Neha, you want to promote the open youth commission seats at the Creative Futures Fair, that would be great. And the Creative Futures Fair will be done in partnership with Yerba Buena Key Club, Yerba Buena High School, as well as the entrepreneurship program from the library, which seeds young entrepreneurs with $75 to make their products and sell them. And that'll be it from me.
Thank you. District 8 is not here, so we'll move to District 9, Commissioner Singh.
Yeah, so this month we had a Zoom meeting last week with the District 9 YAC. So currently we're working on writing a mail to our council member like we're filling in on everything we've done this year so far. And due to most of my YAG graduating next year, we're starting to prepare for like helping onboarding the future commissioner, whoever comes in next, and making flyers and doing outreach so more people apply for the District 9 Youth Commission position.
District 10. So we hosted a meeting in partnership with our neighborhood association with Councilmember Casey. And so we got to hear about some of the things that he plans to work on as a council member during his term. In terms of my YAC, we hosted a cleanup, I think, in February, and we're looking to host one on March 15th. We are also looking to partner with schools for book drives to potentially build community libraries in the future. And I've been in contact with Congressman Panetta's office to potentially host a joint meeting with him to discuss youth priorities and things that are going on in the federal state of things. And so, yeah, that's what my YAC has been working on. We'll move to Commissioner Kuczewski.
Okay. So, my YAC this month, we've had 2 meetings so far, and we are planning to have a few more. Like with Peter, we are also ramping up our pace. This last weekend, actually yesterday, we had a meeting on policy where I went through all the different techniques of policy and we taught all the YAC members who might not know how to write it some things about that. And then we also had some writing time where they could write their own examples of policy. And we're planning on trying to write some real policy and looking at what we can do there in the future. Other than that, we did attend the mayor's cleanup at the trail down in Almaden a little while ago. That was about 3 weeks ago. It was a really good event. There was quite a big turnout, and yeah, I had some YAC members come to that. As for the future, we are planning some events, but you know, some of the proposals we have to still work on. So not much happening this month, but hopefully more next month.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for your hard work. We will now move on to item 7, items for future commission meeting agenda. Are there any commissioners that would like to add an item to future agendas? Okay, we will then move on to item 8, meeting schedule and agenda items. Our next commission meeting will be on Wednesday, March 19th, 2025 in the wings 118 to 120, which is here in City Hall. We will then move on to item 9, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
District 3 motions.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner Vu second.
Okay, please vote on your screen. Right. Okay, the motion passes unanimously and we are adjourned at 7:33 p.m.